I still remember the day Ethan walked out of that small apartment. He didn't even turn around when he closed the door. It slammed like a period at the end of a long, painful sentence. At that time, Mia had nothing. No money, no friends who stayed, no plan. Just a half-empty coffee mug, a messy art portfolio, and a heart cracked wide open. He left her for someone better, someone richer. Her name was Valerie. She drove a silver Mercedes and wore confidence like perfume. When Ethan told Mia he needed stability, she didn't argue. She just stood there, nodding, even though her chest felt like it was caving in. Weeks turned into months. Mia worked 3 jobs: waitress, dog walker, and night cleaner in an office downtown. Every night, she'd pass the tall glass building of Blackstone and Reeves and tell herself, "One day, I'll work there. One day, they'll know my name." She didn't know how, but she refused to break. Years passed. The world changed, and so did she. She learned design, then marketing, then management. She stayed up late, failed, started over, and failed again. But one morning, she woke up and realized she was no longer that broken girl Ethan left behind. She had built a company of her own, a small creative agency that told stories through visuals. Clients loved her honesty, her fire, her persistence. And soon, her name, Mia Collins, started showing up in business magazines. One rainy Thursday, she got an email. Subject: Proposal for collaboration. Blackstone and Reeves. She froze. That was the company she used to clean for. And she was being invited as a partner, not an employee. When she arrived at their skyscraper, everything smelled like polished marble and money. But something else caught her eye. A familiar face in the meeting room. Ethan. He looked older, heavier around the eyes, his smile a little forced. The confident boy she once knew now seemed tired. "Mia?" he said, almost whispering. She smiled politely. "Hello, Mr. Reed." She didn't call him Ethan. Not anymore. They shook hands like strangers. The meeting began. Ethan, now a mid-level project manager, had to pitch his idea to her team. But halfway through, his hands started shaking. He stumbled over his words. Mia leaned back, calm, professional. She wasn't angry anymore. She had already won. After the meeting, Ethan stopped her in the hallway. I didn't expect you to be here," he said. "I didn't expect to own half the table," she replied softly. He laughed nervously. "You look different." Mia nodded. "I am different." There was silence, the kind that carries memories. Then he spoke again. "Valerie left me years ago, said I wasn't ambitious enough. He smiled bitterly. Guess she was right. Mia looked at him, not with hate, but with peace. Sometimes, she said, we lose people so we can find ourselves. A week later, the collaboration was approved. Blackstone and Reeves became her client. And Ethan, well, he had to report to her. It wasn't revenge. It was closure. She never bragged, never mentioned the past. She simply did her work, better than anyone else. But sometimes, when she walked past his office, she'd see him watching her with that same look, the one he had the day he left. Regret. Months later, during a company event, Ethan found the courage to speak again. He told her he was proud of her, that she deserved every bit of success. And Mia just smiled. "Thank you," she said. "I wish you happiness too." And she meant it. When she drove home that night, she looked out the window at the city lights. It felt like the world was finally in balance. The girl who once cried in the rain had become the woman who built her own sun. Sometimes life doesn't give you closure through revenge. It gives you peace through growth. And in that peace, Mia finally found herself again. He left her for a rich girl. But years later, she became his boss. Sometimes, the best revenge is success.